advocacy. And we are still saying that the government of Jamaica needs to put 2 JUTC bus in Portland. Our children are traveling from very far, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to school, and there are times when they can't get to schools. In Bellevue, in Millbank, Comfort Castle, Ginger House, Cornwall Barracks, Moortown. You have children from those areas who are going to Buff Bay at school, who are going to Happy Grove at school. We need to change that. We need to change that. They are paying sometimes $500 one way to go to school. They don't care about our children. Because them not have no pitney at go school here. Them not have no cousin, no niece, or no nephew at go school here. So them just come on a day, come brag, and come take picture from Porsche money. The road that is under construction from Harborview into Port Antonio is the legacy of Portia Simpson Miller. And I dare any guy to come challenge that. Don't tell me about who you think me is. Challenge this argument. The road from Harborview to Port Antonio, the contract was signed with China Harbour Engineering Company in 2015. And I think 2015, the Prime Minister of Jamaica was a woman. If I'm wrong, somebody please remind me. 2015, the contract with China Harbour Engineering was signed to build a new road from Harborview to Port Antonio. And my memory tells me that in 2015, the Prime Minister of Jamaica was the first female and only female Prime Minister of Jamaica. The negotiation for the money with the Chinese Exim Bank was also completed. That money was negotiated for by a female Prime Minister, the only female Prime Minister of Jamaica. So the road from Harborview to Port Antonio, the only thing that this government has done to it is downgrade it and cause chaos. So I challenge anybody to come tell me to thank this government for the road from Harborview. The road from Harborview to Port Antonio was downgraded by this government and caused chaos and suffering. And this government should pay for the suffering that they put the people of East Portland, Eastern St. Thomas, and Western St. Thomas through. I tell you this, some on the memory shot. Some on the memory shot. But I will remind you that James Roberts, and I lift my hat off to him when he did it, Fenton Ferguson, they demonstrated when the Jamaica Labour Party government decided to change the scope of work. Yes, labor rights, remember this. James Roberts, member of Parliament for Western St. Thomas, joined with Fenton Ferguson and made a lot of noise against the government changing the scope of work. And some fools come talk about thank this government. Thank the government for what? I don't think everybody fool when I know where they did forget. Eh? I know what we were supposed to get. A brand new road that would take us 1 hour from the Norman Manley Airport into Port Antonio. That would have turned up the tourism industry in Port Antonio and East Portland. And this government turned it down, changed the scope of work. Changed the scope of work. I don't know why I thank them. thank them for what? The people of East Portland, Eastern St. Thomas, and Western St. Thomas must hold this government accountable for the suffering, the loss of income, because they change the scope of work. Let me tell you something. You see, I follow whatever is happening in Portland. And that's why Warmington tried this. Because things are happening in Portland. I mean, I want a second-hand information. So I go to the meetings. When I hear that there's a government tour, I go. Because the government spend my money. And when Warmington ended up in the valley, my taxpayers' money ended up the pan. Your taxpayers' money ended up the pan. But because them want to tell we lie. And tell we rubbish. Them no want we did there. Them no want we did there. Let me see what DPS say. What DPS say. Beat and teach.